So today's lesson is application of square roots and the Pythagorean theorem. So it says the radius and the area of a circle are related by the formula, and that's right here that I'm talking about. Okay, so R equals the square root of A divided by 3.14, where R is the radius, okay, that's right here, and A is the area of the circle. So it says determine the radius of the circle. That was supposed to say if the area is 1,256 centimeters squared. Okay, so let's solve this together. So right away, R, it says determine the radius, so we don't know R. And then A is the other thing that we're looking for. So area, it says 1,256 centimeters squared. Okay, so we're going to use our formula we have up above. R equals square root of A divided by 3.14. Okay, so R equals, do the big square root. So A is 1256 divided by 3.14. Okay, I'm just going to move it over here. So in our calculators, just open it up. Okay, so we're going to do 1256 divided by 3.14, and we get 400. So R equals the square root of 400. Okay, and then we need to take the square root of 400, so square root equals 20. So R equals 20, and because we're dealing with centimeters, and we put centimeters. Oops. And there's our answer. Okay, so because it's a word problem, you have a therefore sentence, so therefore the radius is 20 centimeters. Okay, next one. Determine the area of the circle if the radius is 40. So now we're telling you R is 40 centimeters. And it says determine the area. So area, we do not know. So we use our formula. R equals the square root of A divided by 3.14. So now we fill in what we know. Well, R now is 40. Okay. Square root, we don't know what A is, so we leave A, and then divide it by 3.14. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we need to solve for A, right? So we need to get rid of the the square root. So the opposite of square root is squaring. So if we take the square of this side and the square of this side, okay, so 40 squared, okay, 40 squared gives us 1,600. So 1,600 equals, now squared and square root cancel, and we just have A divided by 3.14. Okay, next step is we want to get rid of this divided by 3.14, so we multiply by 3.14. You do it on one side, you do it to the other side. Okay, so 3.14 times 1,600, so times 3.14 gives us 5,024. So 5,024 equals, and if you multiply by 3.14 and divide by 3.14, that's just a 1. So we're left with 1A. So the units we're dealing with are centimeters. So A equals 5024 centimeters, and it's squared because area is squared. Okay, so therefore the area is 5,024 centimeters squared. last question. A ladder that is 11 meters long is leaned against a tree. The base of the ladder is 1.5 meters away from the base of the tree. How far up the tree does the ladder reach? So I always like to start with a little drawing. I'm such a good artist. So there's our tree, and here's the ladder. Oh, that was not very good. There's the steps. Okay. So I'm just gonna erase part of that aggressive part of the trunk. Okay, and okay. Now I'm gonna make a little triangle. And here's our right angle. Okay. So it says a ladder that is 11 meters long is leaning against the tree. So the ladder is 11 meters. So I did that one. Check. The base of the ladder is 1.5 meters from the base of the tree. So down here is 1.5 meters. Check. How far up the tree does the ladder reach? So I'm going to call that X. Okay, because we don't know. So this right here is my hypotenuse, my longest side, or you can call it C. Side 1 or A, side 2 or B. So we're going to set up our Pythagorean theorem. So you can have C squared equals A squared plus B squared, okay? Or you can have hypotenuse squared equals side 1 squared plus side 2 squared, okay? So because we are given the hypotenuse, we are looking for side A, okay? We can actually rearrange this question. So you could take this B and move it over. So it becomes C squared minus B squared equals A squared. Okay? And same thing here. If we are solving for side 1, we can take this side 2 and move it over. So it becomes H squared minus side 2 squared equals side 1 squared. And then we fill it in. Okay, I'm going to do the hypotenuse one. So I'm going to have 11 squared. Okay, that's my hypotenuse. Side 2 squared is 1.5. So minus 1.5 squared equals side 1 squared. Now 11 squared is 121. Subtract 1.5 squared is 2.25. Equals side 1 squared. So now we can do 121 minus 2.25, and you get 118.75. 118.75 equals side 1 squared. And now in order to solve for side 1, we have to take the square root, okay? Because we want to cancel. So you do it on one side, you do it to the other side. So square root and squared cancel. It's like adding and subtracting, or multiplying then dividing, okay? They're the opposites, so this is side 1. And we take the square root of 118.75. You get 10.89. So 10.89, and we can round that up to 10.9. And because we're dealing with meters, we call it meters. Word problem, we have to have a therefore sentence. So it says, how far up the tree does the ladder reach? Therefore, the ladder reaches 10.9 meters up the tree. Okay, the end.